Is it on right now?
It is.
Okay.
This might end up on the video. You never know.
I think it should.
You think it should? Hey everybody, this is Jerry Scrolato, and this is episode number 7 of Thrive TV. And today I'm going to work out a little bit. We have
Sharon Kuntz.
And Sharon's going to talk about groundwork with us. Now, I'm going to let her go over what groundwork means and what it actually is, and how we implement it and how you can implement it into your workouts. But as we go through this, first she's going to explain what it means, and then at the end is when I get to work out and show you exactly what it is and how you can progress it and make it important. I'm sorry, it is important, but implement it into your workouts and make it effective. So, first, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you became a personal trainer?
Well, I was going to school not really having any idea what I wanted to do. Started working out and I really liked it, and then friends started seeing results in me, so they were saying, hey, you should train me and tell me what you do, show me how to do things. And I was like, well, I can't really train you, I'm not a personal trainer, but I can show you what I do. So I started getting more into it, and I decided that's what I wanted to do. So here I am.
You know what I just realized? Did I say episode 7?
I don't know.
Okay, well, hopefully I did. Episode 7. All right, cool. So, and then luckily enough, you actually moved next to, or my friend, one of my friends moved next to you.
Yeah.
And just happened to give me your number.
Yep.
Yep.
And then that's how I got the job.
That's that. And then she trained here for a little bit without a certification, but we're not going to tell anybody that. She was with me the whole time when that happened.
Then I got my certification, graduated college, and been training here for a while now, about 8 months.
Yeah, pretty darn close to a year.
Yeah.
Scary. All right, so let's get into the good stuff. Groundwork. What are your thoughts? Where do we start? First, tell us a little bit about why it's important.
Okay, groundwork is really important because we want to go back to our basic human movements that we learn as a kid. So when you're a baby, you start by moving your head, moving your neck, and then eventually rolling around and then crawling. And we want to go back to that because that's what we were built to do. That was built into us. And actually, there's research that babies who skip crawling can have development problems later in life. So it's really important to kind of go back to that because we wonder why we lose our balance as we get older, why we just can't move as efficiently, as effectively as we do when we're kids, and you think, oh, I'm just getting old. I try to tell people all the time, you're not just getting old, you stopped doing the things that you did when you were little, so that's what has happened. And you don't have to lose that as you get older. You can continue to move the way you did as a child and continue to be flexible, have balance, be able to coordinate your body better. And we want to move with both, we want to use both hemispheres of your brain and your body. So that helps us use our entire body together. When you're building your brain, you're building your body. When you're building your body, you're building your brain. So they go hand in hand.
So the irony behind us aging, and you just went over it a little bit, but the irony behind us aging is that when we're young, we roll around, crawl around, climb around. As we age, we do less of those things because, number one, our jobs don't allow us to. It would be cool to be able to climb all the time at our jobs. And number two, society in general just says it's, once you get to a certain age, you just shouldn't roll and crawl and climb anymore. And like Sharon said, the irony is those are the things that keep you young and youthful. So what are the things that we're going to go over today that people can implement into their workouts? so that they can get their groundwork in?
So there's a few different exercises you can do. One is rolling, and then there's some progressions of crawling that we're going to talk about. So we've got an exercise called dead bug, bird dog, and then we've got different variations of crawling.
Awesome. So we're going to start with rolling first. I'm going to go over that. I'm going to be the dummy today and roll around on the ground. Sharon's going to instruct me through it. We'll go over our dead bugs and our bird dogs and then our crawling progressions after that. Sound good?
Yep.
All right, awesome. So I'm going to set myself up. How am I going to set myself up?
So you want to go ahead and lay down on your stomach or on your back.
Okay. Let's see. We're going to start.
End up being on both anyway.
I got to make sure I'm in the camera all the way.
Looks
All
good.
right, we're good.
All right, you want to reach your arms overhead so your arms are in that position like his are. We're going to only move one thing at a time here. So we want to take your right arm and we're going to lift it up. Follow your hand with your eyes and your head. So that's going to help guide you, and we're going to roll onto your back. Everything else just kind of flops. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but his body just kind of flopped along to the other side. So we're going to do the same thing coming back the other way. So your arm and your head are in control here. Everything else just goes with the flow. We're just rolling onto your back and then back onto your stomach. And then we can do the same thing on the other arm. So we want to lift up the opposite arm. Same thing, use your head and your eyes to guide your way. We're not using your legs at all here. That's the hard part. We want to only use that arm and your head.
Yep. Left side's a little tougher.
All right, we want to do the same thing with the legs too. So our arms are going to stay in the same position. We're just going to lift up one leg, lift it up, and then we're going to lift it all the way up and twist it around. And everything else flops. And we'll come back onto your stomach, same way, lifting the leg up and flopping around. You want to do this a few times with each body part. So about 3 times with the right arm, 3 times with the left, 3 times with the right leg, 3 times with the left. Everything else just flops.
I gotta balance it out.
Yeah.
Almost there.
All right.
All right. Nice job. We rolled around a little bit. So let's do some dead bugs and bird dogs.
All right.
So this at Thrive, dead bugs and bird dogs are what we do before we teach crawling.
Crawling progressions.
Yes. Why would you say that this is something that we would do before we crawl?
We need to get that stability, the balance, that connection initially built before we start crawling. Crawling is a little bit harder than staying in one spot and moving your body. So
Good point.
we want to start in the easiest way. It just helps build the connections that you need from in your brain to your body, the neural connections to develop crawling.
Good point. All right. So let's start with some bird dogs.
All right, so bird dogs are the easiest progression. So you'll be on all fours, hands and knees. You want to reach your opposite hand, opposite leg back, and your eyes stay up. How his head is looking up towards the wall, we want to keep your head up instead of looking towards the floor. So we're going to take your right arm, left leg, and reach out. And then we'll bring it back, and we'll alternate other side. Bringing it back. So we want to do just like he's doing, taking a little pause at the top there, really getting your body to realize what it's doing. If you haven't done anything like this before, your balance could be a little bit off because, like I said, you start to lose balance as you get older because you don't have those connections. And this is going to build that back up. So your core is getting a lot of strength here when you do this.
And one of the ways that you might notice that your balance is going off is when you reach up like this. If you tilt here, which is pretty common,
Yes.
from what we see. If you start to go down, be patient with yourself and pause a little longer on that side. Let that side catch up to the other side, because odds are one side's going to be a little better than the other.
Yes.
All right, so we'll go over dead bugs next.
Yes. Yep. So dead bugs, you're on your back. Your arms and your legs are up, and your head is up off of the ground. And we want to reach, same thing, opposite arm, opposite leg towards the floor while keeping these straight up in the air. People tend to bring these in. We don't want to do that. We want to keep it where it's at. And we're going to reach to the floor, pause, and come back up, and then alternate. So we want to pause, come back up, and then switch. Just like that. So this is pretty similar to the bird dog, but notice we're upside down.
So it's the same movement, I'm just flipped on my back instead of on my belly.
Exactly.
And you have to concentrate more because
your body wants to automatically move in opposite directions when you're trying to do that, and you have to focus on keeping one straight up while the other one goes back. Your body doesn't have those connections that it needs to.
All right, so the next progression that we would take from our crawling
is a baby crawl. We'll start hands and knees, baby crawling. We're going to move opposite hand, opposite leg, just like we did with bird dog, and we're going to keep your head up facing the wall, your eyes are up, and we're going to move staying on your knees, opposite hand, opposite leg. We're just crawling for a specified distance. You can go forward, backwards, you can even go side to side. The focus here is moving opposite hand with opposite leg. People tend to often want to move the same arm and leg at the same time because that's how our bodies work. We don't have both hemispheres of our bodies and brains connected, but we are working on connecting them.
All right, next we'll go
up to bear crawl. So bear crawl is the next progression from baby crawl. We're doing the same thing, except we are not on our knees anymore. We're on our toes and our hands. So we lift the knees off the ground. We want to keep them close to the ground. We want to keep those hips low. And we take opposite hand, opposite leg, and step. Just crawling same way, except your knees are off the ground. And again, you can go forward, backwards, side to side. Just like that.
Uh-oh. Got
It's
a little
tricky
confused.
going side to side.
Got a little confused.
All right.
All right.
Good.
Now that I'm somewhat out of breath. So it is important to stick to the progressions that we showed you, especially nailing the bird dogs and the dead bugs in the beginning, because if you have too much side-to-side lateral movement, if you're doing a bear crawl or a lateral bear crawl, then you can have some pain in your lower back if your hips are shifting way too much as you're crawling. So nailing those bird dogs and those dead bugs are important so that you can get that movement down. And like Sharon's already said a couple of times, because it's important, developing your brain function, these are key to improving your cognitive ability as well. It's more than just rolling and crawling on the ground, which is why a lot of people don't do it, because it is rolling and crawling on the ground. However, it's important to do. So a couple of ways that we can implement these into our workouts. If you're talking about easy progressions versus harder progressions, how would you say is a good way for them to be able to put these in?
So you can do these in your workout as just an accessory exercise. So you're not going to do these instead of bench press or something like that. You just want to kind of throw them in after your main exercises. The way we do it here, actually, we do sets, 3 different groups of 3 sets of exercises, and we usually have them in the first group of exercises. So it's usually the third exercise in the first group. And that's, it doesn't tire you out so bad that you can't finish your workout, but it gets you warmed up, gets your brain going, gets you ready for some exercise. It's a good thing to do early in your workout.
Especially when you're talking about progressions and ease of progression. So if you're on the rolling, you can stick in anywhere, definitely, because it's pretty low key. Bird dogs and dead bugs, you can stick those pretty much anywhere as well, because they're pretty low key. They're tiring, they're somewhat fatiguing. However, they're pretty low key, especially once you get used to them. With the baby crawl, bear crawl, and things like that, those you can stick anywhere as well. However, when you actually start to nail those and get those down, bear crawls especially can be a great cardio hit.
Yeah.
When you nail them and get them down. If you're doing them and your butt's way up in the air like this, and you're swaying side to side a lot, and you're trying to get cardio out of it, bad things can happen. It's just like any other movement. You have to nail it to be able to really get the most out of it. So if you can nail the bear crawl really well, it's a great thing that you can stick at the end of your workout, like we do in some of our classes.
Yeah.
And get a really good cardio hit. Stick it with a couple other exercises, bear crawls, jump up and do some squats or squat jumps, something like that. Repeat that 4 times and you'll be tired. So those are great suggestions from Sharon. I'm glad that she was here today to go over some groundwork with us. She'll be around plenty in the future to go over some more great information, I'm sure. Sharon, anything else you'd like to say to Thrive Nation?
Basically, just like he was talking about, make sure you're focusing on your form on these things. So if you're doing bird dogs and you're kind of swaying to the side, you don't want to try baby crawls yet. You want to really focus on building that strength before moving on. And with bear crawls, make sure you focus on keeping your hips low, keeping your hips from swaying side to side. So just always focus on that before trying anything harder.
Nice.
So
good job.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. If you guys have any questions for Sharon specifically, you can find her at Sharon@thrive4strength.com. That's her specifically. She's also on Facebook and Snapchat. What's your Snapchat user? Is it too hard to say?
I don't know what it is.
All right. If you can find her, you can find her. Good luck. Facebook under Sharon Kuntz. You can find Thrive Fitness on Facebook, on Twitter at the Thrive Pack. If you guys have any other questions, you can let us know there. Otherwise, we'll catch you next time.
All right.
Boom.